Chapter 5, Section 3, the two-party system in American history. The nation's first parties. The two-party system first began forming around the time of the ratification of the Constitution, and the first party formed was the Federalists. After that came the Jeffersonians, because the Federalists were composed mostly of like rich people and higher up class, like high class people, and the Jeffersonians opposed their views, and they were more of the working class. And they went from being called the Jeffersonians to the Anti-Federalists, and then the Jeffersonian Republicans, Democratic Republicans, and then finally they turned out to be called the Democratic Party.
Some serious name evolution going on there.
Yeah.
If you guys look at the handouts I gave you, that I have the four different, the 4 eras of political parties on there, so you can look through there, and it has a little bit about what, like, I guess you could almost call it platforms of the Anti-Federalists and the Federalists, and it has a couple of the members of both parties, the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists.
4 major eras of party control. First era, Democratic, 1800 through 1860. The Democratic Party was unopposed until the 1820s, when the Whig Party surfaced. Conflicts that arose caused different parties to surface. The Republicans were founded in 1854. 1854.
So for like 20
Republicans
years,
were
the Democratic Party didn't have any opposition, so it was kind of easy for them to control the presidency. And then after that, conflicts like, I think it was the Civil War and stuff like that, made different parties, like the Whig Party, surface, and then they had a little bit more competition.
So on the first page, I just wanted to you guys to look at that, and also I want to point out that do you guys remember what the Alien and Sedition Acts are? Okay. So just go to the last page. Okay. There's a short explanation. And basically, when the Federalists passed the Alien Sedition Act, it was saying that if you criticize the government, you would be in prison. And this was during like the quasi-war area, like time period, when like the French Revolution was going on. And so they also made an act where it took longer time for you to become a citizen. So basically they were trying to shut up the Jeffersonians and the Democratic Republicans. And when they did that,
and they were also scared of what? These French people coming over trying to win support for the French Revolution. So they thought they could shut out all those people coming over here by raising the time it took to become a citizen. That was part of that.
Yeah. And when they did that, everyone started like mistrusting them, and that's what helped Thomas Jefferson win the election of 1800, right? And so since then, they had power up until the Civil War, when the Republicans began their party and they were anti-slavery. So it wasn't until the Civil War that they lost their power.
4 major eras in party control. Second era, which was Republican, which is 1860 through 1932. The Civil War crippled the Democratic Party, although they still had the support of the South. 1896, McKinley victory was a major win for the Republicans.
The 4 major eras in party control. The third era was from 1932 through 1968, and Franklin Roosevelt was elected in 1932 and remained in office for 4 terms. He's the only president that's ever done that. Eisenhower's victory returned to the House to the Republicans, but the Democrats quickly returned to power. I'll read that. The 4th era has been divided from 1968 to present, and Nixon won for the Republicans in 1968 against the divided Democratic Party and the American Independent Party. A declining economy allowed Ronald Reagan to win the 1980 election. Currently Republican held, the presidency has been
What?
passed back. Well, that's according to the book. That was in 2006.
Yeah, but we don't put old information in.
But now the tables have turned, and the presidency is held by Democratic Obama and all the other people in his branch, and most people in Congress are Republican.
Most?
I think.
You mean a majority?
Well,
Yeah,
a
the
majority.
Okay.
A majority.
And the way that, how like the Democratic Party was divided in that one election, and like how in the 1968 election, and how the declining economy let like Ronald Reagan kind of come to power. Like that just shows how back and forth it's been, like depending on the economy and like certain factors like that, and different things that just happen in the economy.
And also international affairs and domestic social issues and.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are some of the candidates that are like possibly going to be candidates for the 2016 election, and the four right there are the more like known, some of the more known names, but there are over 30 more to choose from that the Democratic Party is going to choose from.
I'm just curious, where did you come up with this list here?
I went on
Google?
a couple political websites.
Because there's one who hasn't been listed here that's been another woman who's been touted as perhaps even getting more popularity than Hillary Clinton. Does anyone know who she is?
Another one.
Elizabeth.
Say it again.
Elizabeth.
Out of Massachusetts.
Yeah, I don't know what her last name is, but I know her. Oh.
She's the more liberal. In the Democratic Party, she's considered more liberal than Hillary Clinton, probably more closely aligned with President Obama within the political spectrum within the Democratic Party. So yeah, that'll be interesting because now in 2016, there's no incumbent. It'll be party against party. They're always going to be scratching for new name ID. So.
Pay attention to the numbers though of the candidates, because like you'll see the difference in the party, like the largeness of parties. So, and then the Republican candidates, and there's over 60 for the Republican candidates.
It's a funny picture.
That's how you know they're.
And you probably know like Sarah Palin and Chris Christie. So
No,
some of those names probably sound familiar. And then these are the minor party candidates. The Libertarian Party is the one with the most candidates, and it only has 10 out of all the minor parties. And then the Constitution Party has 6, the Green Party has 5, and then every other minor party has 1 or less to choose from.
One.
Also, the picture right there, what do you guys think that means?
that they're both going against the minor party. To keep
Yeah,
them out?
it's kind of like they're teaming up together to
Yeah.
keep the
So you're saying there's actually more registered U.S. citizens with the Democratic Party than there are registered with the Republican Party?
I'm not sure about the total, but those are just the people that they're choosing from to like run for the presidency.
Yes.
I think that's old, isn't it?
Well, that's
Oh,
what.
you mean the chart right there?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She misunderstood.
Well, that's interesting. Look how many are now declining to align themselves with either the Democratic or the Republican Party. Look how many are classifying themselves as independents. That's a pretty sizable piece of the pie, is it not?
It is.
Is that bad?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And that's the end of the section 3. Does anybody have any questions so far?
We'll do 4 and 5 tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.